Although I must admit, there is some, grave injustice being done, like in Alabama and those southern states. There's a lot of horrible stuff that we still need to work on. We've come very far. There's still some things we, need to work on and issues we need to address. But as for extreme political correctness and all this other shit, it's okay to be white and do white people things, right? It's okay not to like hip hop, right? And just like, hey, I like to just dance to EDM or what old school disco type stuff. So it's okay. Like I love Lionel Richie. I think he's great. I don't know. He's just a dude, right? Or Lenny Kravitz is a dude. It's okay to like those things. You don't have to get like down with the jiggy and the hip hop. If you don't like it, that's cool. Like I tell Jimmy Fallon to fuck off all the time. I think maybe for him to try and force me to get down with that, maybe it's time we look for someone else as a host of the Tonight Show. I think maybe Colin might be a great replacement, right? If he wants to pull the whole, um, get down with I don't want to get down with the Jakey, right? Maybe Colin be kind of good, right? Get Colin in some pinstripes, black and purple pinstripe suit and kind of a black kind of shirt underneath. Colin's hosting the Tonight Show, right? He's kind of witty and cocky, and maybe let him loosen up a bit and maybe be more of his dickhead self and be kind of fun, right? Maybe, right? So that's my answer to that, But it's okay not to like it. You don't have to like hip hop, right? Like, hey, I like all kinds of different stuff. I like jazz and all kinds of but I don't have to like rap. You don't have to like it either. I like to when I go to if I want to go to dance, just want to have a good time, pick up some ass, and if worse comes to worse, you know, I might punch some out if that's be the worst thing, right? But as for knives and guns, like I don't need to do that shit, right? I'm not a bitch. That stuff's fun, but it's like all these black people are. He always was. Yeah, I always was, man. I'm sorry, like I don't like hip hop at all. I think it's stupid, right? I think 50 Cent or Biggie Smalls actually. He was a big fat. I saw a little silhouette of him on the window. He's a big fat guy, right? Flip burgers, right? It sold crack and stuff like that. And like he's cool. Those are the cool people. Those are the guys that you choose to represent you. And now you wonder why you have such problem. Tupac Shakur was a shy art student that got himself, hooked up with the wrong people and ended up getting smoked in the head, right? He's not cool. He's a fag too, right? Jimi Hendrix is cool though, right? I think he's a Seattle boy, man. Surprisingly, Seattle has a great lot of songs. Jimi Hendrix is awesome. I'm more on stuff like I said. Those are the things I like. I guess they call him white things. Jimi Hendrix is a black guy, right? He's from fucking. He dressed like a pimp, right? But Jimi Hendrix is cool, man. What's. I think he's awesome, man. I love Jimi Hendrix. I love Electric Ladyland. That's a beautiful album, right? Like there's so many stuff. And for a guy who had a limited knowledge of just like I think only everything he did was in A pentatonic, which is a pretty simple scale. He did wonders with that, right? And just painted all kinds of colors and tapestries with that. It's just so beautiful. Stuff like that's more fun, right? Hip hop's not fun, man. I like what eras I pull from or be like the 60s. Major would be like the 60s, like late 60s, right? 67. Like I call that the 70s, right? 67 is is the 70s. 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I like, stuff from uh, the 1950s too, the Pinstripe Troops and coffee stuff, kind of hipster stuff like that. Um, 20s and 30s and 40s are kind of cool, some Art Deco and stuff like that. But I think rap is the new jazz. We're all sick of rap. It's like, ooh, down. I was walking out, I listened to Drake's voice. It's like he's just mumbling. Just The thing is, I don't hate black people, right? But there's a lot too much political correctness going on in the media right now. But I think they're really cool, man. I love they invented the blues. They invented rock and roll. They played a major role in the development of house music from the Detroit music scene, stuff like that. And they got their very own interesting personalities. Like I love reggae too. It's like rock and roll from the islands. Basically, that's what I look at it as, right? Bass, guitar, drums, and drums. It's like rock and roll from the islands, like blues rock from the islands. That's what reggae is to me. Um, I like stuff like that, right? But uh, I don't really like. I don't like hip hop at all, right? It's not. It's like It's like for idiots, like thug life. If it's for rock, to like me, Mister, like oh, blah, blah, and so have a shirt that says thug life. That's liberal fucking thug mentality. That's exactly what's going on in Hong Kong. That's thug life right there, right? The Chinese government's hired out a bunch of goons to recruit to keep the people at bay. That's thug life. That's liberalism, right? Conservative blue, Nazi red, communist red, right? I like to be free to what I want to do and don't be told what to do. I'll have more rants going on that, but I think as for the complete blackout and stuff like that, like I like Prince, I like Motown and stuff like that, but hip hop culture is for goofballs, man. Like just look at how stupid they dress and stuff like that, and once again, majority rules. We don't have to be. I don't support the KKK or any of that shit or any of that crap like that. But they all like all these like little brown people like he's a racist and blah. Well, you know what, man? We're probably gonna end up deporting you because you won't even fucking break chain. You're so rude and ignorant towards us, right? In our own lands. Get the fuck out, man. There'll probably be a mass exportation of It just won't be good because you can call us what we want, but and then there'll be a big house cleaning in Europe going on too. I guarantee that they'll fucking freak. They're getting ready to fucking. They're calling out Luftwaffe and stuff like that. So, just be warned, right? It's gonna be a big fucking shit because we're getting pretty pissed off. Once again, I don't want to. There's a lot of stuff we need to address in Alabama and stuff like that, right? People can. I'm not against interracial marriage or any of that shit, but it's whatever makes you happy and stuff like that. And these segregated proms and all that bullshit, that's absolute lunacy. But we need to. There's a lot too much political correctness going on. I like, I'm like playing Pink Floyd right now, right? Which is a combination of two favorite blues players, become the name of Pink Floyd, and look what we have there, right? Randall Pink Floyd, and Randall Floyd and something Pink. I can't remember the story behind it, right? But that stuff's fun, man. That's cool, right? But like there's an AC/DC song, the black man of the blues and the white man of the smarts, something like that, and like kind of like that's how rock and roll's for. Rock and roll is not like hip hop. Rock and roll is more like fun, having a good time, blah blah blah. And it's more artistic too. You get your Robert Plants and stuff like that, or talking about deep stuff, and it's also like a lot of fun. Like that song "Rock and Roll," it's a lot of fun too, man. It's just like I've been to many Edge Fests. I used to go and sat in the beer tent, just drank beer and had a good time, right? But as for hip hop, like I shouldn't have to go to worried about going to a nightclub and getting shots. Like I don't want to party with you hip hop guys, and you guys like I'll probably, because I know who I am, so I'll probably end up throwing like a big celebration, kind of EDM disco, rock and roll party, right? But hip hop guys, like Big Boy and all that's like we all turn that off at the Super Bowl because you know what, we're all sick of it. We don't like that stuff, right? And like. Once again, majority rules, so we can just vote you out. Before the liberal government has all these, ethnic minorities, so they can come vote us out, and then we're going extinct. So I don't think so, man. So Boris Johnson, you do what you gotta do. Get them all out, man, because they're not taking over. That's a fact. I don't care what we have to do, and you can read my thoughts on that one. But we're not catering to Islam. We're a Judeo-Christian country, and we're not catering for all the other crap either. So, once again, call me what you want. I like to do white guy things and whatever, man. Would it just be jazz, blues, and all kind? I guess that's the majority of people are doing that these days. These originated with black people thing, but as for hip hop, nah, man, hip hop sucks. We all think it sucks. Everyone does, man. It's like they can't even sing. The whole hip hop culture is lame. It's like being broke ass all the time. It's like, hip to be broke. Nah, man. It's like, I liked it back in the 70s and stuff, 70s and 80s, I guess the late 90s. I guess, when all the jobs were here and we had the money and it's like, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. Stuff like that, man. Those like the good old, like, remember, like, a reboot of the good old days, right? Bring the good old days in the present. That was a lot of fun, right? Lots of fun, but definitely time to turn the page, I guess you could say, because hip hop sucks.